all you cyberpunks and retro nerds. It's your favorite gore hound, Tommy the Hammer, bringing forth another old school horror movie review for y'all. And today I thought we would discuss the early 1980s classic OASIS of the Zombies. And I actually remember this movie from my youth. In my early teens, there used to be a place in Kent, Ohio called Video 101. And anyone that's a townie or from the local area remembers that place, mainly because it was so freaking awesome. It was the type of video store where you could just walk down the aisles and see, shelf after shelf of strange, old school, big boxed VHS classics such as this. And that's exactly where I rented OASIS of the Zombies from, was Video 101. So not only were they cool because they had a bunch of weird and rare horror movies, but they were also awesome because they sold alcohol and they would actually deliver the movies to you. That's right, they would actually answer the phone and take an order a lot like a pizza place. So let me tell you, video stores like that, those little mom and pop shops, they are a lost relic and a lost art in my opinion. I miss places like that. Now, I actually watched it the other day just to refresh my memory, and we're going to be discussing my feelings on the film today here in a moment. But before we do that, why don't we cut away to the trailer so you guys can have an idea of what I'm talking about.
You believe in zombies?
I'll believe it when I see it.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله
The living, the dead. Oh, Baba.
God's sake, where's the oasis?
The
Where's the oasis?
I'm sorry, I'm late, Professor.
Your fly's open.
Stop! Stop or I'll shoot!
OASIS of the Zombies, guys. And like I said, I watched the movie again yesterday just to refresh my memory, and I have to admit, it's a lot better than I recall it being. It's still a very slow-paced, dry movie, but there was a lot more in the film that I could appreciate in my 30s than I could when I was in my early teens. One of my favorite aspects of this movie is the cinematography. It's just got that classic, gritty, kind of grindhouse vibe that I love in old school horror movies. Another thing I like about it is the use of color. This is one of those hot, sun-starched, dry-looking zombie movies. You could compare this to some of the more tropical-themed cannibal films from the late 70s and early 1980s. Things like, Zombie Holocaust or Lucio Fulci's Zombie. It has that kind of vibe. However, it's slightly different, mainly because this is a French horror film. And let's face it, the French do things a little bit differently than the Italians do. And in this case, though, I feel like it's very successful in terms of the overall look of the film. You could put this right up there with Zombie Holocaust, and, it would make a nice double feature. But back to what I didn't like about the movie. Like I was saying earlier, the pace is pretty bad. There's a lot of interesting plot elements here, many of which involving Nazi gold and World War II, and there's flashbacks between characters, father and son. There's a lot of interesting elements going on. However, they're just not utilized all that interestingly, and the movie kind of suffers because of that. Now let's talk about the gore a little bit here. That's where this movie kind of falters. It claims to be of the Euro Shock collection, which I'm familiar with, but, anyone looking at this cover, they're going to see all those awesome images, which they are in the film. They're going to see the Euro Shock collection at the top, and then they're going to read the synopsis on the inside here, and it says that this movie is the most extreme zombie flesh-eating horror. And it just isn't, quite simply. There's a few gut-munching scenes, a lot of people getting bit by zombies, and then the after effects, the corpse reanimated walking along with an eyeball hanging out or some shit. So in terms of gore, it's not that extreme. One other thing that I did like about the movie, well, it's kind of a double-edged sword and a love-hate relationship, is the soundtrack. The director and the sound producer really chose some interesting instruments and noises to embody the undead coming back to life and crawling their way out of the sand. So I felt like the music during those moments was superb. On the other hand, during dialogue scenes and travel scenes and scenes of nature and whatever, the music kind of falls back on this really shitty soap opera quality, and that kind of unbalances it. So the soundtrack's 50-50. But yeah, outside of that, I'm glad I got to watch this movie again. It's been well over a decade, and it was a treat just to enjoy it for the era, the gritty grindhouse footage, and the use of colors and the weird-ass soundtrack. Out of 10 stars, I think I can only give this movie a 5.5, honestly. If you've seen all those cannibal films from the 70s, like Cannibal Holocaust, or Cannibal Ferox, or if you've seen those zombie-themed ones like Zombie 3, Zombie Holocaust, and you've exhausted those and want to check out something a little bit different, then I could recommend Oasis of the Zombies, mainly because it'll just kind of scratch that visual itch you might be looking for. But if you're looking for gore, well guys, sorry, this ain't it. 5.5 stars. Check it.